Do you want to do your impression of me?
Testing Dana. It's first grade and everyone's mean to me.
In first grade, people weren't mean to me yet. Second grade was when the bullying started.
Midnight
Milkshake.
So wait, you claim...
I loved school until I moved in second grade. So my kindergarten and first grade, I had my fair share of spats in kindergarten. Mostly there was a girl who allegedly, I sent her a note, like I passed her a note in class that said, I am a tiger and I will scratch you. And that was taken very seriously by the parents and authorities at the school. And they really thought I was a tiger and I was going to scratch her. Apparently I also pinched her neck because I think she sat with a girl that I thought was my friend.
You're building to you're like, apparently I also mauled her half to death and put her in the ICU.
Apparently I brought a pew-pew to school in kindergarten. Just kidding. I'm joking.
This is the kind of jokes.
Nobody
This is what alienated people from you in your elementary school days. Just letting you know.
What did you do at recess in elementary school? People say that you can tell a lot about someone based on what they did at elementary school recess.
I would play Foursquare, and I would occasionally get into fights, roughhousing. But it was just boys roughhousing.
Who would win? Were you a top dog?
Well, no one's really. There's no top dog. It's
that
not
sounds like something a top dog would say. If you were getting the shit beat out of you, you would be like, I was getting the shit beat out of me.
Well, also
it implies that you're beating the shit out of
in
kids.
second grade. In second grade, there is no no one has any strength. Your muscles, there's nothing. So no one's doing anything really. But there would be it was just like roughhousing. I would say that I lost some and I won some. But also there's no victory. It's just you would kind of boys would just you would kind of tackle, roll around, and then it's time to go inside.
Would you ever get in trouble?
Yeah, occasionally. A couple times you get in trouble, but it's whatever.
Did you ever get hurt? Did you have battle scars?
No, again, I think the thing is, here's the thing about roughhousing. It's I do think it's the reason why it stops when you get to middle school. It's only really a fun thing that happens at recess, in elementary school. Is because once you get the physical strength necessary to actually hurt, then it's not fun anymore. I remember one time I have this memory of I have a jacket and my friend had a jacket and we just swing our jackets at each other.
Okay, I remember boys swinging jackets at each other.
More of a dance, if anything.
Yeah, kind of a joust.
Well, a lot of times some boys are and we would fight at recess and you realize really you're dancing together, but you just have to have a masculine spin on it.
Yeah, I mean, but isn't that all kind of that's jousting? The knights dance. The dance of the knights.
Here's what I'm going to say. Not at all,
okay.
But I'm really intrigued. I want to hear more about your take on the dance of the knights.
Well, I thought that in medieval times, that was how men expressed their affection for each other, was with their sword dances.
I think you're making up your own lore here.
Okay.
I mean, I would think jousting was a sport, certainly. I don't think it was an emotional expression on behalf of the men.
Okay.
You seem skeptical of me even saying that.
No, I'm just saying, when you say the thing about how you were hitting each other with jackets and that was kind of a dance that you all did together, that to me is reminiscent of the medieval tradition. That was the joust.
I guess I think the joust occupies a different place in society fundamentally than boys roughhousing on the playground. But I guess as I say it, maybe not.
I don't think so. I think it's just the
I
evolution.
think the joust was more ceremonial. I think it also, to me, it had more in common with tackle football than.
But to me, it's just because everything lacks ceremony nowadays.
I think that's
we
true.
have no good. Okay, how do we say this? I was thinking about how for peasants, there's no more tradition. It doesn't seem like the elite have lost their affinity for tradition. They're still doing debutante balls and polo matches. But I feel for the peasant class, which I would consider myself and you, I would say for our
No, yeah, we're peasants.
Dude, I love to get on the internet and just self-identify as a peasant / techno-feudal serf. You guys know that I identify as a techno-feudal serf. But I feel there's kind of the lost art form of ceremony and formality.
Here's what I would say. Some people would say that sports would definitely qualify as entertainment for the masses, but the reality is normal people are being priced out of sports. A normal family can't go to the Lakers game. You know what I mean? You can't go to see the Dodgers play. It's you're kind of priced out. So I guess in a way it's you can't be part of sports. Again, you can watch it on TV or whatever, but I would say in terms of actually attending live events, it's there's very few live events that normal people can go to, with the exception, honestly, of the movies. A couple years ago, everyone was talking about how movie theaters were dying, but then that's kind of completely been disproven. More people are going to the movies than ever. People love going to the movies, and it's because going to the movies is literally the cheapest night out that's available to you.
And there are people who will say that the movies isn't a cheap night out, and to those people, I'm like, that's not true.
Well, I'm not going to say that it's like it's necessarily in a vacuum cheap.
Yeah.
But it is the cheapest night out, and that like going to the movies is cheaper than going to a nice restaurant. It's cheaper than going to a concert.
Yeah.
It's definitely cheaper than going to a sporting event. It's like, so like, yeah, if you just want to leave the house and like go do a thing and be entertained, going to the movies is cheaper than pretty much every other option out there. And maybe that's a condemnation of like our society overall, that it is the cheapest and it has like $10 popcorn, but it is the cheapest.
Yeah. And like we always talk about, there's a lot of, articles and stories and narratives that have been shaped that are like, nobody goes to the movies anymore, but like that's vehemently, categorically, statistically untrue.
That's true.
There's so much data that disproves that, since like 2021, we've had like record high box offices.
Well, it's also because everyone always compares it to it's the COVID, the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, people went back to the movies like right away. I never forget I had a boss who was like, he was like, I won't even probably go to the movie theater again unless there's like a new James Bond movie or like an Avatar. It's like, so then you will go to the movie theater again.
And you need those movies in between James Bond and Avatar to keep the movie theater in business.
Yeah. We love going to the movies.
We're big movie heads. Well, recently we even tried to go see a re-release of a movie called Train to Busan,
that
which
we
was
very
the
much
10th
liked.
anniversary re-release, and they were doing a screening of it in theaters, which, by the way, we think should be way more commonplace. Like, we would love the occasional just like random re-release of a movie from like 10 years ago. We freaking love that. But we go, and there's like these crazy people sitting behind us.
Yeah, there were two people sitting behind us in the movie theater. And first of all, I hear like one of them making these crazy breathing noises.
She was like
and at first I thought, is this a medical issue? So I
Yeah.
turned around, but no, she's just kind of like laughing. And like her and the guy she's with, they're like laughing with each other. And then I'm like, whatever, that's crazy. I thought it would die down. It didn't. They kept making noise. And then the guy starts like, pulled out a salt shaker that he brought from home and salting his popcorn. And there is a thing, like the thing with noisy people is like everything they do is noisy.
Well, like you brought a salt shaker from home, and then I turned around for like probably the 5th time, and I swear he looks at me and he goes, stop looking back at me, bitch. That's what he says. He's a bitch to me. And then the lady who's sitting next to them, she goes and complains. But by this point, we're like getting we're just like on edge. The movie's 10 minutes in. We haven't paid attention to a single thing that's happened because we're listening to this girl do heavy breathing, and we're listening to this man salt shake his popcorn and call me a bitch. And we're just like...
And then we just laughed.
Yeah.
And also, here's what I will say. I'm not just saying this to kind of like let myself off the hook for not defending my wife's honor. Two things. One...
He didn't defend my honor.
I didn't hear him call Dana a bitch. I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear
but
it.
Two, I also do think it seems like he might have actually, because I bet the whole area was looking at him. I think he might have called the woman sitting next to him a bitch.
But he said back at me. Stop looking back at me.
But you're not sure he said back at you.
I was pretty sure.
I'm not trying to gaslight you. I'm not trying to let myself off the hook. But anyway,
I think you are trying to let yourself off the hook a little bit. But it's okay. I wouldn't have expected you to defend me because, like we always say, you don't know what strangers are capable of.
Well, here's what I would say. Whatever. I think that the woman next to him was clearly bothered by him because she went and complained right after he called you a bitch, which again to me indicates maybe he called her a bitch. But anyway, she went and complained, and 2 AMC employees came in to presumably kick that couple out. We wouldn't know because we just got up and left. And here's the thing. In a weird vibe like that, the thing about me is like as soon as the vibe gets weird, I will just leave.
Because it's not worth it. Also, again, once people demonstrate that they have no regard for basic social norms, so if they don't have any regard for like, hey, it's a movie, that means we're quiet during it.
Yeah.
We don't talk very loud. We're not talking at full volume. We're not making weird breathing noises. We're not bringing salt shakers from home. But once you demonstrate that you're someone who has no regard for these I would say, socially agreed upon rules that we all abide by. Once you've demonstrated you have no regard for those, I can't trust that you don't also have a disregard for the other societal rules, such as like you don't have a weapon on you, etc. If you brought a salt shaker from home,
maybe you brought a weapon from home. Well, I did think this because I was like looking back, and then I told myself like stop looking back, because then like what if like he gets like pissed, and then I'm looking forward, and I'm like, what if he just like walks up behind me and like punches me square in the head? What would I do? And then I thought of like if he stabs me in the throat from behind, would I be able to like stop the bleeding long enough to run to the lobby and get help? And by the way, this is what I'm thinking instead of like watching the movie.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately why we had to leave, even if I think they did get kicked out, because it's like the vibe's off. The vibe's off.
And you just can't be trying to watch a movie while also thinking about like, what would my reaction time be if you stab me in the neck?
Well, one thing about me, and I do think one thing about us is like if the vibes are off, we will leave right away.
Yeah.
If we're at like a party and it's kind of weird, we'll just leave. We'll get out.
I'm out.
There have been times we've been on like if you can be on a vacation and you can be like, the vibes are off. Let's call it early.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I think the power of leaving, the power of quitting, sunk cost fallacy. We're both really big believers in sunk cost fallacy, where it's like, I don't care how much time or effort I've sunk into something. If it seems like it's just really not going well, I have no problem cutting my losses.
Yes. Well, going back to your playground point, Dana,
Yes.
they say that you can tell a lot about a person based on what they do on the playground in their elementary school days. So, Dana, what did you do on the playground in your elementary school days?
Okay. So in my elementary school days, what I remember really distinctly is when I moved in second grade, I initially didn't have anything to do during like recess because I didn't have any friends. And so, like I was telling you, I kind of would walk laps around the school trying to avoid groups of people that would kind of like yell things at me.
So you were, it seems like you were hiding. You were hiding from your classmates who were mean to you.
So initially in second grade, I was hiding from the classmates that were mean to me. Then I discovered handball. And I discovered that I was actually really good at handball, or wall ball, as they call it. It's the one where you take like the cherry red bouncy balls and you hit it against a wall and you guys all line up and you take turns hitting the bouncy ball against the wall. But basically I was like really good at it. And I realized I was like so good at it that it was making the boys that I had crushes on not like me. And that kind of made me like a little bit deterred, but mostly I just kind of like, mostly I was just excited to have something to do during recess that no one could exclude me from. It was also like one of those kind of like more public games where, because there's like chaperones or like recess watchers on duty, you can't like, they can't like tell you can't play, but they did. They found a way, if you can believe it. In this activity that I think I am exempt from exclusion from. Basically how handball works is there's these rules. So beyond just I hit the ball, bounce once, hit the wall, whatever, there's all these like other rules, like there's slices and rainbows. Rainbows is when you duck under the ball. And because I was really short, I was really good at winning by doing rainbows like when the ball was really low to the ground. I could like get fully under the ball because I was really fucking short. And guys, guess what they started doing when they saw me come? They would make the rule of no rainbows when they saw me coming up. So basically, in order to beat me, they had to get rid of the rule that was to my advantage. And slowly, it's like I just stopped wanting to play because clearly they didn't want me to play. And they made that clear by getting rid of the rule that was advantageous to me.
Can I ask you a question? You often complain about... You often complain about how when you started a new school in second grade, people were really mean to you and they treated you like you were really weird. I'm just going to ask you this. Is there anything you did in that time that maybe would explain why others would treat you this way?
A couple things.
Okay.
I decided because I was starting a new school and no one knew me, that big swing, I was going to have a British accent. Big swing. Okay. I had a British accent.
Massive swing.
I told people anyone who would ask, that I was from England. And actually, I feel like it kind of worked.
What do you mean it worked? What do you mean it worked in what way? You talk about how you were a social pariah and you never socially recovered and your reputation was permanently damaged.
Yeah, but they might have believed I was British for
But is that your goal?
while.
I guess here's my thing. When I start a new school, my goal is to make friends, get comfortable, kind of establish myself within the social dynamic. It's not to convince them all that I grew up in a monastery in Tibet. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Your goal is to you act like your goal in second grade was to make everyone believe your lie. And I would say, why was establishing or creating a lie even on like the vision board for your year?
That's just who I was as a child. Like
a fake British girl?
I always wanted to have a backstory that wasn't real.
Okay.
That was like a big part of my like childhood MO. Lying was a big part. I was a compulsive childhood liar.
So wait, when someone goes like, "Hey, Dana, you're new to school, right?" You would say,
"Oh yes, I'm new. I'm from England. I used to go to a boarding school. It's very fancy.
Oh,
I'm not used to all of this common folk."
So wait. Not only were you pretending to be a British girl, you were pretending to be a snooty British girl who was calling other people poor? You weren't even pretending to be a nice British girl.
No, I wasn't pretending to be a nice British girl. I didn't know any nice British girls.
You didn't know any British girls?
Well, I knew the ones in like the books that I read. I was really into like Victorian era literature.
In second grade?
Yeah.
So you rolled in.
Mostly the Samantha American Girl doll book. She was American, but she had a British vibe. spit.
Well, yeah, it seems like once again, you're like, everyone was so rude to me.
You know what? Whenever I tell stories about myself, I am embarrassed. I don't know what to say beyond that. But yeah, I pretend to be British. I told people I was from England. It all seemed to be going okay, and okay. I don't think anyone like actively didn't believe I was from England, ? Maybe they didn't. But then one day I'm doing like an essay thing with one of the room moms, and I'm doing my British accent to her, and she's like, do you have an accent? And I was like, oh yes, I'm from England. And then she goes on this whole thing about she like used to live in England.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh, and in my head, I'm like, oh God, this is the beginning of the end. And okay, also like when you're a childhood liar, you always know when a lie is coming to its
when
end.
it's over. Yeah.
And for me, I knew in this moment, this was the beginning of the end. And then a couple weeks later, there was some sort of like parent-child event of some sort. And I see this lady talking to my mom, and I see them both like look over at me in unison. And I just know
it's done.
I've been caught. And then I think I dropped the accent like after I saw them talking.
And then what do people say about your dropped accent?
I think that it made me realize that maybe no one believed me to begin with.
I'm going to be honest. I've heard your British accent. Give me a sample of your British accent. Say something in your British accent.
Hello, Robert.
Yeah.
It used to be better, I swear.
I doubt that. I really doubt that. No part of me believes that. I wouldn't hear that and go, oh, this is a new British girl.
Yeah.
I would go, this is a freak. Keep your distance. And that would be and that seems like how people treated you.
100%. That's how people treated me. Except for, as I always say, this one girl and her mom who were really, really cool until they turned on me. But I've told this story, so I won't bore the shakers with this. But
I gotta be honest. When I was in second grade, I don't think I'd ever been betrayed. The fact that like betrayal to me is something that really rears its head in like I would say high school is when betrayal can rear its head. It seems like you got betrayed a lot as a child.
yeah, I did get betrayed a lot as a child. I clearly had a target on my back that I wasn't aware of. But this was my first major betrayal, was this girl and her mom. I've talked about this.
Okay.
We'll call her Mandy, and we'll call her mom, I don't know why I can't think of just any name, Brittany. We'll call them Mandy and Brittany. But basically, Mandy and Brittany were these like iconic blonde girls. Her mom, I call her mom a girl, but her mom was like a young mom.
Yeah.
And they were just so freaking cool. And they took me under their wing. They introduced me to their dance studio. I was better at dancing than Mandy. Brittany got jealous. And then Brittany turned all of the other girls in the class and their moms against me. And my experience at that school was bad until I left in 4th grade because of Brittany and Mandy.
And you place all of the blame for Brittany and Mandy and 0% on your fake British accent escapades.
Because I started hanging out with Mandy after the British accent thing had already kind of wound down.
Do you think maybe that their betrayal was created by the fact that they thought you were cool, and then while the mom is hanging out with other moms, they're like, Dana, she lied about being British. It was really humiliating.
I really think it's because I outshined the master, as Robert Greene says in his 50 Laws of Power, and I think the master in this case was Mandy.
I would say the very fact that you're kind of trying to bring 50 Laws of Power logic to like your childhood dance. So anyway, you were bringing a 50 Laws of Power mindset to dance.
No, I was bringing up 50 Laws of Power mindset to my friendship and relationship with Mandy and her mother, Brittany. And ultimately, I think I broke the 50. I think in my life, I've really haven't abided. What's the past tense of abide?
I think abided is correct.
I have not properly abided by Robert Greene's 50 Laws of Power, and I really can attribute that to a lot of my social failures in my life.
Yeah.
And every time that he reads the Law of Power, I go, oh, didn't follow that one.
Yeah. Law of Power number 2. Use the accent you actually have. And you go, oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to think. I can't say that I was ever betrayed. I think I was weird, but I can't say that I was ever really necessarily betrayed.
I think in order to get betrayed, you have to like really live with an open heart. And I think that you are a little guarded in general.
I think I'm pretty guarded.
I became really guarded. Let's just say I didn't get betrayed like the Mandy Brittany thing after the Mandy Brittany thing. that was a big one. And then obviously Neopets Password Pals.
We can't go through every.
I know,
This
I
can't just be
know.
like
Sorry,
a clip
yeah.
show.
No, I know. Yeah,
Sometimes
I'm sorry.
you complain about the same childhood shit so
Yeah.
much on repeat. It feels like those episodes of a sitcom where they would just show like clips of their old episodes.
Yeah.
Where like Ross and Chandler are like, and of course we've had some crazy birthdays over the years.
Yeah.
You're just referencing your own betrayals over and over again.
No, and I'm sorry. So we can move on from them.
Yeah.
And I am over them.
You're not. You're obviously not. They haunt you still.
They don't haunt me.
I haven't thought about anyone I've gone to second grade with at all.
Well, I don't think about her regularly.
Yes, you do. You bring it up regularly. And every time you bring her up, you go, I've talked about this. And then you talk about it again.
Well, how does one move on?
It shouldn't be important to you. I also think
it's not important to me.
You know what the core premise is?
Yeah.
It's because there's a part of you that like genuinely believes you were exceptional as a childhood dancer and gymnast. And you refuse to let go of those realities.
I don't think I was exceptional. I think I could have been exceptional.
That's what I'm saying.
Had the proper resources been allocated to me.
Like, no part of me goes like, Robert, could have been playing in the FIFA World Cup if just my soccer skills were properly nurtured. No. But you genuinely, in your head, you're like, I could have been an Olympian.
I could have. Look at me. My build, my body type. I think that when you are a stocky, muscular, 4'11" type bitch, and you did not get the proper resources to be the gymnast that you always knew you could be, you probably feel like a 7'2" man whose parents like didn't want to pay $200 for him to do basketball camp.
Here's the thing.
That's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's foundationally not the same thing. Also, like a 7'2" athlete who would be amazing at basketball, he'd be playing basketball. They literally find those guys in like villages in Slovenia and they bring them to the NBA.
For all I know, I was recruited for some sort of gymnastics program and my parents hid the letter. They would have done something like that.
No, because the very fact that you were in dance classes at all means that clearly your parents gave you enough support to be great. If you had it in you to be great, you would have been great.
I guess. I think that's true. I agree with you.
It's not. I also think of this. Let me just be so clear. You did not have the talent to be a professional dancer or a professional gymnast.
I think that's true.
Regardless of nurture, your nature wasn't there.
Okay.
And by the way,
and there's no point in debating it because I can't go back and see.
But also we can look at your family.
There is a timeline that exists in which I am a stellar dancer and gymnast.
No. Stellar for what? You know what I mean? I'm sure like there's a timeline where like you had like a great time and you enjoyed it, but I would argue it seems like we lived in that timeline. You got to do more dance than most people. You got resources put into your gymnastics more than most. Did you do gymnastics in high school?
I did. I was on my high school gymnastics team.
You did gymnastics all through high school.
The last couple years, yeah.
That's through. You did gymnastics.
Yeah.
You did gymnastics as a senior in high school. You started as a child. You did it when you were a senior in high school. You went to many dance classes, multiple cities,
You're right. I just
multiple
wasn't
studios.
that good. I just wasn't that good. That's okay.
By the way, you can be good without being without genuinely believing that like the sabotage and the jealousy of your peers. It is just like, can you imagine if I was talking about like my little league soccer career? Oh man, my little league baseball, and I was like, the reason I'm not in the majors is I was sabotaged.
But that's not who you are.
There's a certain type of person who is fundamentally unwilling to let go of their little league sports career, and I might be sitting next to that person. You always talk about the reason why your gymnastics and dance career didn't work out, and you're referencing achievements or skills you displayed at like 8 years old. And I'll say this, I've met your family. No one in your family is a good athlete.
I was going to be the first.
You were gonna be the first. You're not kidding though. The thing is, you should say I'm kidding, but I've been around you all the time. You genuinely believe it.
I just do believe it. Like, I don't know what to say. I get what you're saying, where it's like I can't prove that that's true. But I really, in my heart, believe if the right resources had been poured into me at that age, I could have been really good, exceptional.
But what's resources beyond like being put in dance studios? By the way, you were put in dance studios with other people. Like, I assume it cost money. I assume it was the best in town.
It wasn't the best in town.
Where did it rank in town? Where did it rank in town?
It was like not even a top dance studio. It was not a top competition studio. There was a ceiling to how many classes you could take.
But how many classes were you taking on a week-to-week basis?
I was probably taking like A lot of classes.
How
like
many?
7.
Well, you were taking 7 classes
a lot of
week?
Classes, yeah,
What do
a
you
lot
mean?
of classes.
You were
maybe
given
more.
full
No,
resources.
I agree. I was given a lot of resources, but in order to like take it to that top notch, you have to be in a different level of training. Like you have to be taking like the girl. Okay, for example, when we'd go to competition, I only ever had one solo number. The girls who were like actually winning and stuff like that, they had like 4 solos in every category.
But you still had a solo in every competition. You were in a class every day.
Look,
That's opportunity.
I think you could make. You're right. I think you can make the opportunity. You can make the argument that I had a lot of opportunity, and ultimately, you're right in that. Like my skill level definitely wasn't like so exceptional, but I do believe that I was willing to train more than I was allowed to.
I'm going to say this. I don't
What?
think you had that in you to do because let me put it this way. Let me ask you this. Were you the type of person to enthusiastically participate in PE?
No, because I
No.
had body image issues, and
Okay.
I didn't like the way the outfit looked on me.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to say this. Your body image issues were too intense for you to consistently participate in PE, but you believe your body image issues wouldn't have been a hurdle in professional dance and gymnastics, setting aside the talent.
Well, maybe my body would have been better if I had danced and did more gymnastics. Danced more and did more gymnastics.
Here's what I'm going to say. You feel that the psychology we're uncovering is not the psychology of a successful athlete.
No.
No. And I'll say this. No
Yeah.
one in your family is a successful athlete. Going back
Yeah,
generations.
I know. No, you're right.
You
No
don't
one
have a
in-
single
no.
athletic person in your family.
No, not in sport.
What is in what else would there be besides sport?
No.
There is nothing
no,
else.
No, you're right. You're correct. You're correct.
Let me say this. It seems like members of your family hike a lot relative to tech executives. That seems like the most you can say for
no, I don't think
your
I have
family.
a genetic advantage.
No, and I would say that especially gymnastics, so much of it is genetics. You like I think that that's true.
Yeah, but I didn't even get to do gymnastics during my fundamental growth stage. My mom didn't like the gymnastics studio or something when we moved to San Diego. I did not get to do gymnastics during like the pivotal times where it's important to train gymnastics. I didn't get to do gymnastics in that window.
Okay.
I literally didn't get to. I was not allowed to.
And you think this didn't, but then if
What?
you didn't get to train during that period, how do you know that you had untapped ability?
Because before that period, I had shown a lot of promise.
In
Gymnastics.
And what age are we talking about?
Young, but that's when the promise is shown. People in gymnastics, Robert, people go to the Olympics at like 12. By the time I was 6, like my gymnastics coaches, one of whom was an Olympic medalist in China, she thought I had a lot of potential. And then that potential was completely dismissed, and I was not able to train gymnastics from ages 7 to like 12, which I think is a pivotal time in gymnastics. And any like gymnast would tell you that 7 to 12 is huge for developing your gymnast abilities. It's true. What? Okay, and I don't want to argue about this anymore because I have my belief. I don't think it's important. It's not like integral to my personhood.
But I would
Obviously,
say
I'm not
this.
a gymnast now. I'm 31 years old. I'm a comedian. Like I've moved on. I've moved on.
You're screaming.
I'm the top in my field, which is Instagram Reels. And yeah, I don't do gymnastics anymore.
Or dance. And you think it was because of a fundamental lack of resources dedicated to you at the time when those resources would have been best spent?
Look, I can't explain it. I one day will probably make some sort of movie that I hope shows it.
You want to make a movie explaining how your mom didn't put you in enough classes from the ages of 7 to 12.
I would show, not tell.
What would you show?
I would show a little girl being like, "Mommy, more dance classes," and the mom being like, "No, Dana, it's not all about you."
And then what are you going to do for the other
Yeah.
1 hour and 58 minutes of the movie?
I'll brainstorm.
You know how like you and I sometimes will collaborate on creative projects?
Yeah.
That one's all you. That one, you can have that one.
All right.
How about this?
It would probably just be like flashback moments in my overall my biopic of my adolescence called
Yeah.
Danny Donnelly's Down Bad.
So it'll be flashback sequences in a movie about the bitter 30-something who wears a dynamite vest to the mayor's house. And they're like, why do they wear this dynamite vest? This is insane. There's no explanation. And then it cuts back. And then it gets cuts. You're in the interrogation room like, 7 to 12 is the peak athletic period for gymnasts. My Chinese gymnastics coach said I had promise.
I don't have as dour an outlook on my own life as you seem to.
but again, I don't say I have a dour outlook. I had actually the optimistic outlook is to kind of be like, yeah, little league sports is little league sports. And I would say if you display any real promise, that generally speaking is picked up on.
Yeah, if your parents aren't haters who are trying to stifle your ability to shine.
So you think your mom didn't put you in gymnastics from 7 to 12 because she was worried that if at 8 you really like came into your own, you could have been in the Olympics at 10?
Yeah.
And then you would have outshined her? Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Here's what
I
I'm
do
saying.
think
As
that.
I say it out loud, maybe that's on the table.
Robert. That's genuinely what I think.
Here's the thing.
I think that there was an active effort to. Again, I'm not saying that I would have been good. I'm not saying I would have been good.
You're saying that if you were good, it would have psyched your parents out.
My parents wouldn't have liked it, and they would have tried to put a stop to it. And I think that's true.
Here's what I would say about, because again, you grew up in Palo Alto. We can say that, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You grew up in Palo Alto. It's a very techie. We've discussed this. I've noticed something about Palo Alto parents. They all fancy themselves athletic.
Yes, they do.
And none of them are.
No.
I've literally, they all, for some reason, they fancy, like they're always like outdoorsy and hiking and they're always biking. And I'm like, and they all fancy themselves to be, I think they would all describe themselves as uniquely active.
Yes.
And you're just looking around, I'm like, dude. An average dude from an LA Fitness could take this town over.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like you said, it is interesting to watch people who genetically have proven that they're like better at math than the average person. So like they've proven that. But for some reason, they also want everyone to think that they're also more athletic. And like you said, it's like they all want their kids to be athletes. And they think that by putting their genetically clearly untalented children in athletics really young, and in a really intense capacity, they can somehow bypass the physical limitations that their kid will clearly have.
Also, but you know what's interesting? It's really interesting about this, because this is a lot of conversation about the youth soccer industrial complex in America, and they talk about how actually it just costs a lot of money to participate in youth soccer specifically, and that's part of the reason why America does really bad in the World Cup. We have produced no good soccer players because the farm system for young people is too expensive. It's prohibitive. So actually, when rich people kind of overspend to get their kids involved in sports, they're not making their kids better athletes. They're just making sure that all of the actually good athletes can't compete.
They get priced out of the sport.
And ain't that a metaphor for society overall?
And they say that about baseball, but that makes sense that baseball is not an international sport, really.
Not really.
But like baseball is like famously more expensive and has a higher barrier to entry than like say basketball.
And what's ironic is like football you would think would be expensive to enter. It just doesn't really seem like that's the case.
But I also think the coaches and the American football system, like we talk about, they're so dedicated to recruiting people from lower income areas that they think will be good.
Well, because they actually realize that in order for the sport to thrive, you need the best athletes to play it.
Yeah.
And it seems that like a lot of other sports, it's like, well, it actually, in order for this sport to thrive, we should let my kid be the best.
Yeah.
Again, I always talk about this where it's like I played Little League soccer, and our coach was just, I played at a level where it's like your coach is just like one of your friend's dads, and the friend's dad, it was like Jimmy it was Jimmy's dad was the soccer coach, and all I remember from my Little League soccer days is the coach's only piece of coaching was pass it to Jimmy. I swear to God, pass it to Jimmy. Every time, pass it to Jimmy.
I respect the shit out of that.
I love that, actually.
You should be plugging the shit out of your own son.
Also, guess what? Jimmy was good.
Yeah, there you go.
So what do
Jimmy
you
was
wanna
good.
say?
Well, Jimmy's probably good because he got a lot of opportunities with the freaking ball.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
But also, it's like this thing, too, where it's like, here's what I would say to you, where you're like, I should have gotten better opportunities. I should have been put in better programs. And the reason I wasn't allowed to thrive was I wasn't put in better programs. I went to a private school, for example. Like, again, people who think that succeeding in sports is just all about who can get the best resources given to you and be put in all the best programs. And if you're not in the best programs, you can't possibly thrive. I know that's actually not really how it works, because I went to a private high school in Missouri, and our rival was another private high school. And really, none of these schools were like actually like formidable like sports farms necessarily, but there was a kid on my rival high school who was legitimately good. And he was and even though that like, yes, like the high school football, like it wasn't like the best program. It wasn't really the best football. It was no more for academics than it was for football. The kid was so good that he got good offers because colleges want the best players no matter where they come from. And that was Ezekiel Elliott, who went on to have a very successful career in the NFL, actually. And I'm sure there was some version of a kid who went to that exact same high school in years past. And they're like, the reason I'm not in the NFL is because my parents won't let me go to one of the good football schools. And then when someone who's actually good at football comes to your school, it automatically becomes a good football school.
I agree. I think true talent always finds a way to rise to the top. I think if that had truly been also I'm a big believer in destiny. So I think whatever did throw me off of the path of being an Olympic gymnast, maybe that was in the cards for me.
At 7.
Yeah. Whatever did throw me off the path, I'm like, I fully trust it. I think it's fine. Like, obviously it wasn't my destiny.
Yeah.
Like, it was not my destiny to be an exceptional dancer or gymnast. But I also think I look back and I'm like,
You were betrayed. The
look,
laws of power.
Look, the 50 laws of power. I was outshining masters left and right, and ultimately it was really hurting me. Now I know.
How many years ago is this?
I don't know.
It had to be 25 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
If you were 6, it was 25 years ago.
7, 8, 8, 15.
24,
15 years
23,
ago.
22.
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah. So what?
So what?
What is time but
Here's
a
what I
breath?
was like. This is always the thing too. When you have problems like as a kid, no one takes you seriously because you're a kid. But then when you grow up and you try to bring up those problems, people are like, "You're still hung up on that. You were a kid when that was a problem." It's like, yeah, but when I was a kid and brought up the problem, you said I couldn't bring it up because I'm a kid, and now that I'm an adult, you say I can't bring it up because I'm an adult. I'm like, you're just trying to. No one wants you to fucking win anything around here.
Everyone wants to silence you at every stage. But you know what I was thinking about? I'm like, maybe that's good. I think ultimately, the key to life, like we talk about, is not too much rumination. Keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I do that. I think it's just like, sometimes it's fun to just be like, oh, if I had been in the right gymnastics program.
Sometimes it's fun to like think about when you were 8 and just get more pissed than you've ever been.
Like, that's a hobby.
Oh, can I tell you, that's
Yeah.
actually my secret. Like, whenever I have a nightmare and I like wake up in the middle of the night from a nightmare, or like, I'm like scared, or I'm like scared about something, like because I woke up from a nightmare, or like I read a scary book before bed. My trick to go back to sleep is I think about a real life thing that pissed me off, because I know that like fear is an emotion, so I have to just like create a different emotion to make me not scared of the nightmare. So I literally just do think of like real time stuff that pissed me off, like like my mom making me do a road trip with her to college and making me spend multiple days in New Mexico and go to church, just that pisses me off. Instead of just buying me a plane ticket. Josh Allen winning MVP over Lamar Jackson in 2024. That's helped me get to sleep many a night. I think about like weird comments that like teachers in school made to me, and that helps me fall asleep. So a real tool of like these childhood grievances, or in the case of the Josh Allen, that was like 2 years ago. But a real tool of like grievances is that you can kind of use them to like push through some like other emotions.
Oh, I think they're really useful. I think anger and righteous indignation that you like feel and hold with you, I think that always serves a purpose. And yeah, maybe it is just as an antidote to fear.
Yeah. I saw like the Gap ad campaign with Indy Navarrete, the girl from Obsession, and then I think it's
Malcolm Todd.
And is he Audrey Hobart's brother?
He's Audrey Hobart's brother.
And his dad was the showrunner of The Middle, right?
He's his dad's son.
He's his dad. So you may know him from his dad's
he's a
son
brother
and his
and a
sister's
son.
brother.
Yeah.
And it is just funny that those are the two people in the campaign. It's like, so in order for her to book that campaign, she had to give like an award-worthy performance and like the biggest like breakout movie hit of like maybe like ever. Like it's like so crazy profitable. She literally had to be in like a cultural phenomenon in order to book this Gap campaign. And he had to be his sister's brother and his father's son.
He had to be his sister's brother and his father's son.
He's like, oh wow, I loved you in Obsession. And she's like, yeah, I loved you at your family dinner.
Hey, he did a really interesting and controversial cover of Dancing on My Own.
That's what you say when someone you kind of like does something shitty. You're like, oh, they had a really interesting take on that.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
I'm really interested in how I didn't like it, but I'm not sure how me admitting that would be received.
Yeah.
It is crazy to me how like the most like popular version of Dancing on My Own is from that guy on the X Factor.
I know. Ultimately, we talk about this, but like male covers of women's songs that get more popular than the original woman's song. I mean, it really does speak to the clearly misogynistic attitude of popular society.
Yeah. It also seems like it's a way for like a lot of men. I feel like they cover these songs because men aren't in touch with their emotions. So they almost like let a woman do the emotional work of being really in touch with her emotions and writing a really powerful song. And then they swoop in and like snatch the pathos. They're like, and I will take that. Oh, your song's really emotionally resonant. I will just take that one.
Yeah. Men like to let women do the emotional labor, and they like to do a cover of it.
And then do a cover.
Which actually, a man stole one of my jokes recently. Isn't
Oh,
that funny?
yeah, I saw that.
There's a guy who does like similar internet content to me, kind of like one-liners of tweets. And he stole my tweet verbatim, word for word, and then he added a tag to it that I didn't think was funny. And it went more viral than mine. And it just made me realize too, you're like, oh, a lot of people out here, they just be like a straight up word for word, stealing bar for bar, stealing jokes.
Two things, and not just
Yeah.
Well, first of all, like this isn't. I guess this doesn't make count as stealing, but like, do you know who Brooke Monk is?
Yeah, yeah.
She goes really viral
Yeah.
on TikTok. You're about to say I love Brooke Monk, but I think you're just aware. I wouldn't say. I feel like you're neutral on Brooke Monk. I don't really. She seems fine to me.
I'm a fan.
I have no beef with Brooke Monk.
I think anyone who can like do the same thing over and over all the time and attract the attention of the masses, I gotta give it up for them.
Yeah, that's not really the best compliment you just paid her, but I think she'll take it. But I always think with Brooke Monk, people don't know, like over the pandemic, so it was like 6 years ago, she randomly lip synced like one of my stand-up jokes. And I remember it was like a long joke. It was like a 50-second like story joke, and she lip synced it. Did all right.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I remember just looking at it and be like, there's something so weird about that. To be clear, not even a bad way, but I'm just like, really? I feel like this will do bad for you.
Did it do bad for her?
I don't think it was one of her biggest hits, but because also like it was just my voice. It was like my voice, like telling a joke about my grandma or whatever, and it's just like Brooke Monk. How about that? I also did have a woman steal one of my jokes recently. I don't think it went more viral than when I did it, but I had a woman who she didn't steal it word for word, but she stole it beat for beat.
Right.
Where my joke, like, this was a viral tweet from me literally years ago where it was like, I mentioned that my parents have been married for 40 years. And my friend was I wonder what it'd be like to love someone for 40 years. And I was like, just to be clear, my parents wouldn't know. Very, tweety, very of that time or whatever. And I saw this woman do it. And she basically did the same joke, but she just kind of like muddied it up a little bit. To the point where I'm watching her and I wasn't sure it was my joke until she got to the end. She was like, so I was talking to someone about my parents. They've been married a very long time. And I said that my parents, they're about to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary. And, I'm watching the component shift into place. But here's the thing. All right, I guess whatever.
Well, it is
what
whatever.
am I going to do?
No, truly, what am I going to do? Like send a cease and desist? No.
No.
Also, you just realize like sometimes it's like, it really is a sign of true popularity and that you've transcended. That your IP has become just a part of the cultural zeitgeist. Like it's just zeitgeist now.
Also, at the end of the day, it's like if you have something that goes viral on the internet, it's inherently going to be picked up by other places, and you can't dedicate your energy to like, I don't know, trying to nab full credit, I suppose.
No,
because
you got to keep moving. You got to keep reading. You can't be thinking about, well, if only I had the resources to get credit for that.
Yeah.
I would have been a gymnast.
Yeah, dude. What? I'll say this. I hope Brooke Monk lip syncs this entire podcast.
Please, Brooke Monk.
Brooke, please.
Well,
Brooke.
I think about that a lot. I'm like, I also think there are people who they almost like need things to be covered or need things to be stolen in order to ever pop off or gain notoriety. Can't think of a good example right now, but I'm sure that's happened.
I'm sure it exists.
Yeah. Do we have anything else for today?
I'm like, should we have a powerful ending or something?
Yeah. What do you want to do for the powerful ending? What's our power ending?
I feel like we have to have a power ending because on this pod we always need a power ending.
Yeah, you guys know we like to end
we
with
have
a
a
bang.
power ending.
I'm worried they won't like any of the stuff about me complaining.
That's the whole podcast. If you're worried about people not liking it when you complain, toots, you're in the wrong business.
I just want everyone to think of me as an uplifting and positive figure who rolls with life's punches, takes everything in stride, and always comes out stronger for it.
I want people to view me as something of like a pathetic leech who just kind of hangs onto the hull of society and just slurps up any like extra resources that drip my way. And
that's me when there's extra resources dripping my way.
You guys like that? Now that's a power ending.
Shakers, keep on shaking.